All right, let's just dive right in and talk about one of the biggest money myths out there. For, ever, we've been told the same story. The path to wealth is all about being frugal, being disciplined, just save enough money and one day you'll be rich. But what if that's not just a really slow plan? What if it's just completely wrong?
I'm serious. You heard that right. The core idea we're unpacking today is that the very foundation of what we're taught is responsible financial advice. Well, that might be the exact thing holding you back.
I know. It's a bold statement. It goes against everything your parents probably told you, everything you hear from a lot of financial gurus. But honestly, the logic behind it is shockingly simple. And it's really powerful. See, saving is a defensive move, but this is a game that's won on offense.
To really get this, let's talk about a character, an archetype we can call Coupon Chris. And look, we all know a Chris. Heck, maybe some of us are Chris. He is the absolute poster child for financial discipline. So Chris is doing everything right, He brings his lunch to work, he argues with the cable company to save $10, he religiously puts money into his savings account every single month. But fast forward 10 years, what's the result? Yeah, he's got a little cushion, that's nice. But is he wealthy? Is he free? No, he's just tired. He's tired of trading his life for a paycheck and then trading his free time just to save a few extra dollars. Okay, so let's shift gears from Chris's story and get into the cold, hard logic of it all. Because the math behind why saving alone just doesn't work, well, it's pretty ruthless, and you just can't argue with it. Let's imagine the absolute best-case scenario. You are a super saver. You somehow manage to stash away $1,000 a month, which, let's be real, is way more than most people can, for your entire 40-year career. What's the grand total? $480,000. Now that sounds like a lot of money, but think about it. In today's world, that might not even buy you a decent house in a lot of cities, let alone fund a retirement that could last 20 or 30 years. And this simple calculation doesn't even factor in the real enemy of your money.
And here it is. This is the silent thief that's emptying your bank account without you even noticing. On one side, you've got your savings, earning what, a fraction of a percent in interest? Practically nothing. And on the other side, you've got the real wealth killer, inflation. The cost of everything, gas, food, rent, is always going up. So when the cost of living is rising at, say, 5% and your money is growing at basically zero, you're not standing still. You are actively getting poorer every single day.
So here's the most important takeaway from this. Just think of your savings account like it's an ice cube sitting on the sidewalk on a hot day. Even if nobody touches it, it's shrinking, right? That's exactly what inflation is doing to your purchasing power. The number in your account stays the same, but what that number can actually buy is just disappearing.
Okay, so if saving is a defensive game that you're pretty much guaranteed to lose over time, what's the alternative? Well, it takes a fundamental shift in how you think. You have to stop just protecting your money and start building a real blueprint for wealth. It's time to go on the offense.
And this is it. This is the core principle. The real secret, the real path to financial freedom isn't about pinching every penny you make from your one job. It's about being an architect. It's about building a system where money is flowing to you from a bunch of different directions at once. The source material we're looking at uses this perfect analogy. Think of your finances like a table. A single income from one job, that's a table with one leg. It's incredibly unstable. A layoff, an unexpected illness, and that whole thing just crashes to the floor. But a true wealth architect builds a table with 4 legs. Your main job, that's just the foundation, the first leg. Then you add a side hustle. That's the second leg. They could be anything. Freelancing, driving for a rideshare, selling things online. Investments, like dividend stocks that pay you just to own them, become the third leg. And finally, you have passive income. That's the fourth leg. Maybe it's from an online course you created or a rental property. Now you see, if one leg gets a little wobbly, the table stays standing. It's stable.
To make this super clear, let's bring back our friend Chris and introduce someone new, investor Sarah. Now they both make the exact same salary. The only thing that's different is their financial blueprint.
This slide just lays it all out, plain and simple. Chris has that defensive mindset, right? His whole goal is to save more. So what does he do? He spends an hour of his time clipping coupons to save $2. His result? A tiny cushion, but he's still stuck in the same place. Now look at Sarah. She's got an offensive mindset, earn more. So what does she do at that same hour? She spends it building a system, maybe designing a cool digital template she can sell over and over again that earns her $20, potentially while she sleeps. Her result? Real, growing wealth and actual freedom.
And that's really the bottom line. This is the simple, profound logic that separates these two mindsets. Think about it. No matter how frugal you become, you can only cut your expenses down so far. There is a hard limit, ceiling, on how much you can save.
But earning, there is no ceiling. The potential is literally infinite.
Okay, so this all makes sense in theory, but how do you actually start, right? How do you go from being Coupon Chris to becoming investor Sarah? It all begins with just a few practical foundational steps.
First things first, you have to completely reframe how you look at your savings. It is not a treasure chest you bury in the backyard. It's fuel. It's the launch pad you're going to use to build and invest in your second leg. Second, don't get overwhelmed by this. You don't have to build 4 income streams tomorrow. Just pick one to start. A great way to begin is to find that sweet spot, that intersection of what you're good at, what you actually enjoy doing, and what people will pay you for. And third, and this is crucial, start thinking like an architect. You have to plan for systems that can make you money without your constant hands-on effort. Always be asking yourself, how can I automate this? Can I delegate this? Can I turn this into a product?
So, as we wrap this up, it really all boils down to this one simple question. Look at your money. Is it just sitting there in a bank account patiently waiting while its true value melts away like that ice cube? Or is it out there in the world, working for you, building systems, and creating more opportunities? I get it, playing defense feels safe, but real financial freedom, that's won by going on offense.